Then there's the local plan, an evidence-based document which officially began in 2011 but is still not complete. The Council must produce this plan to convince planning inspectors there's a good cause for our land use decisions. Currently, the Manston Airport site is purely reserved for aviation, but the airport has been closed for 2 years and we needed to show evidence to maintain that in any emerging plan we could stick with that aviation use only. This was the background to the commissioning of a report on airport viability by specialist consultancy Avia. Avia met with both River Oak and Sir Roger Gale to understand their view of the sustainability of freight hub operations at Manston, yet still concluded that airport operations at Manston are very unlikely to be financially viable in the longer term. River Oak have now had 4 chances to impress. They failed as an indemnity partner in 2014, they failed as an indemnity partner in 2015, they failed to take advantage of a city financier who was seeking to invest £150 million and have now failed to demonstrate their case to Avia as well. I am saddened for the campaigners whose battle to maintain their dream of an airport has been both valiant and brave. Manston has an important heritage, but any future for that airport has to be evidenced with real numbers, something River Oak have signally failed to produce to date. Any mixed-use designation does not exclude aviation use, so River Oak need to pull some serious evidence out of the bag in the coming weeks to demonstrate the potential for a working airport. 2 rounds of soft market testing, reports on viability, the lack of interest from recognised players in the aviation marketplace all demand an answer. So it really is time for River Oak to show whether they can or cannot produce a serious business case for an airport. Otherwise, in the words of Tory Chancellor Philip Hammond only a few days ago, when times change, we must change with them.
Thank you very much, Councillor Wells. I call upon Councillor Bayford to comment on or ask questions in relation to the Leader's report.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I think that speech was quite astonishing, really. It wasn't that long ago that this council achieved notoriety for being a fairly unpleasant chamber. And I thought that we'd reached an accord that there would be some attempt at some kind of harmony, some cross-party working. What we've just heard is absolutely disgraceful. It's put this council back such a long way. And I find it incredible that Councillor Wells can use the word hubris about other people. His arrogance and hubris knows absolutely no bounds whatsoever. Now, I have to say that when he was in our administration, which he conveniently forgets, he was part of the collective responsibilities for the decisions that he's now rubbishing. So I don't know what the definition of hypocrisy is, but I think that could be there somewhere. The other thing is that I've got to say that when he was a member of our group, I think a less likely UKIP person I'd go a long way to see. What you've got there is a carpetbagger who crossed the floor purely for his own personal gain and nothing else. What he also does, he conveniently forgets the loyalty of those people that stood by him when we had the situation of having a cabinet member that couldn't attend council meetings because he was in arrears with his council tax. And then he talks about people's financial incompetence. How on earth can he do this? It's just stunning. I'm glad that he did mention the airport, though. I'm glad that he did that, because you were elected almost solely on the promise of planes flying again from Manston. But for over a year now, everybody's noticed that you've gone a bit cool on the idea. Nobody's quite sure why, but you have. But you've also rushed to embrace the Avia report with remarkable alacrity. But the facts are that a report commissioned about 2 years ago by this council actually concluded that it could be viable to run an airport at Manston, provided there was somebody prepared to invest significant capital sums. Well, I've got news for you, Councillor Wells. There is somebody. It's River Oak. They are prepared to do that. They weren't prepared to show the detailed plan to your consultants, and I can understand that because of commercial confidentiality. But the fact is that they've carried on. They've asked for no help from this council. They're seeking to put an airport back there. They're pursuing a DCO. And despite your election pledge, you've never once given any effort to support their effort, not shown any support whatsoever. I was at a presentation by one of the Avia consultants where he stated that experts who predicted a significant increase in air freight demand in the UK based their propositions on a hypothesis that he didn't accept. Now that tells me that had TDC picked a different consultant, they might have got a different result. They might have got a consultant that said it could be viable, as the one 2 years ago did. I've got to tell you that my group believes that the dream of Manston being operational again still lives. I believe that there are many others in this chamber that share that dream, and I hope when the time comes they're brave enough to stand up and get counted. You can't play fast and loose with the electorate, Councillor Wells. You made a promise you've no intention of keeping. We made a promise we're sticking by. Thank you.